Let's go. Our first preview, we're going to do Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Who would have thought this was a barn burner? 29-25 Tampa, both teams 6-7 in a three-way tie for the NFC South League. Excuse me, I got the hiccups today. In the NFC South, I'm just looking something up here, 2023 standings, unless you have it off the top of your head. I know it's a three-way tie. Do you know who's leading the NFC South by tiebreaker?
I don't. I honestly don't.
I don't know either, and I'm a Saints fan, so I'm going to look it up. It is Bucks, Falcons, Saints in that order. So go figure.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, it's just an ugly division. One of those teams is taking it. I don't know who it's going to be, but one of them is taking it.
So we start off, the quarterbacks were surprisingly, decent, probably top 12 here, given how bad they both, are. Baker had 144 yards and 2 touchdowns, also added in a rushing touchdown. Desmond Ridder had 347 yards and only 1 touchdown, did also add in a second rushing touchdown. So both quarterbacks did what you needed out of them. Both running backs that were starters were studs in this one. We had 102 and 33 yards and a touchdown through the air for Rachaad White. Bijan had 34 yards rushing and a touchdown, 5 for 54 through the air. Edmonds got you. If you had to spot start him, he got you by, I guess. 40 yards and then 2 for 18 through the air. Algier is pretty much doing nothing. 9 carries, 40 yards. I guess wasn't terrible. What's that? 4.5 yards per carry, but Bijan getting all the high-value touches, so we're finally getting what we want from Bijan. The Bucs receivers were disappointing. Godwin, 5 for 53. Who? David Moore? I was like, DJ Moore doesn't play for them. David Moore, 1 for 11. Trey Palmer, 1 for 3. Mike Evans, 1 for 8. A lot of duds unless you had Chris Godwin. So Mike Evans, as he does, lets you down when you needed him. On the other side, Drake London finally shows up on the score sheet. He has 10 for 172 and a 2-point conversion. No other receiver on the Falcons was useful. The tight ends were both, actually, we had kind of 3 decent tight ends by tight end standards. Cade Otton goes 2 for 16 and is saved by a touchdown. Jonnu Smith goes 4 for 27, puts up a decent stat line for a tight end. And Kyle Pitts goes 3 for 57, which isn't terrible for a tight end, but he added in the touchdown to really make it worth your day. Kickers, McLaughlin put up a 50-yarder, 3 for 3 on extra points, 2 for 2 on field goals. He was good. Koo was a total dud. I think I missed on 2 kickers this week, which hasn't happened all year, I think. I believe Koo was one of them. I haven't. Sanders is playing tonight. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Koo was 1 for 3 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points. He missed some huge field goals and was probably to blame for the Falcons losing. Bucs DST had an interception, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a safety. They were good, and the Falcons, hopefully you didn't have to start them because they sucked. What's your takeaway here?
So if you look at these teams, and I told you one of them was going to pass for 144 yards, like how much money would you bet have been the Falcons in this game? Because they've been so bad passing, and of course it flips. Where Tampa Bay couldn't pass, they only did 144 yards passing, and the Ridder throws for 347, and that shows up in the script. Like you see, it was all Drake London, really, and Kyle Pitts got there, Jonnu Smith. On the other side, like there's no passing volume; it's just nothing, and you see that with 144 yards. It's just brutal. The only guy that was really good for you was Baker. He was solid, but it's Rachaad White. Like Rachaad White has been fantastic, and he had another excellent game. He's just getting that volume. It's elite. It's so good to see. And then we finally get Bijan doing his thing the past couple of weeks, where he's putting up the numbers for you. And yeah, like my takeaway, like on Twitter, I was talking about this with Drake London, is like the dude's elite. He just needs the situation to improve. So takeaway is Drake London is who we thought he was. He's a very good wide receiver. Yeah, this is a brutal game for Mike Evans because he was in a bunch of my lineups and just killed me this week. So seeing that go down was like, oh, I looked at the score sheet. I go, what? 1 catch? I was like, oh, man. Yeah, so that one still burns a little bit. And I was surprised how good Ridder was, but it's 25 points. That's really good. Like, so you played him, which super flex, like that's money.
The quarterbacks aren't bad super flex options, although inconsistent. You're starting both running backs as the takeaway, and all the receivers here are pretty inconsistent. Even though the tight ends were decent, they're pretty inconsistent. So you have a lot of inconsistent assets in this one, except for the 2 running backs. So I don't know if I want to be trusting anyone in this game on a regular basis, aside from White and Bijan.
Yeah, I would say Mike Evans normally is just really bad game for him.
Yeah.